Hello everybody, Pastor Howie here with a Wednesday edition of our looking into the scriptures and readings from the Celtic Daily Prayer book. And we are reading book 1, which is The Journey Begins. And we've been reading through a book by an author named Gene Edwards, and called The Inward Journey. So those I find very interesting enough that I ordered the book. So I'm going to start reading through that book as well, not necessarily here. And sorry I missed you yesterday. It was pretty much an all-day affair, and but things went well for my wife, and healing seems to be going well, and that's encouraging. But now let me encourage you with these words. I've already posted them on our Fowler Baptist Church Facebook page, and they are for today Psalm 87, Isaiah 62 verse 12, and Revelation chapter 21 verses 9 through 11, and then verse 23. So here they are. Hear the word of the Lord. Psalm 87, short psalm, it's only 7 verses. It's attributed to the sons of Korah. It's simply titled a psalm, a song. He has founded his city on the holy mountain, obviously referring to God. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the other dwellings of Jacob. And that was literally true for the people of Israel in the time that this psalm was written, because Jerusalem was the capital city of the children of Israel at the time, and Zion was where the mountain was. The Mount Zion was where the temple was located, temple that Solomon built. And also Jacob is just another reference to Israel. Jacob being the son of Isaac, being the son of Abraham, Abraham being the son of promise, to whom the promise was given that in Abraham's seed all the nations of the world would be blessed, which brings us to this application for the New Testament. We live in New Testament times, and we are, as believers in Jesus Christ, whether Jew or Gentile, we are the gates of Zion. We are the dwellings of Jacob. We are New Testament Israel. We are participating in the renovation of our lives as the New Jerusalem comes down from heaven, out of God's presence, into the earth, into our hearts. Glorious things are said to you, city of God. I will record Rahab and Babylon among those who acknowledge me, Philistia too, and Tyre, along with Cush, and will say, this one was born in Zion. Indeed, of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her, and the Most High himself will establish her, Zion being the New Testament church. All over the world, the Lord will write in the register of the peoples, this one was born in Zion. As they make music, they will sing, all my fountains are in you. And so this has application for us in the New Testament, as well as for those who lived in the times that the psalmist wrote. And then we move to Isaiah 62, verse 12. Isaiah 62 is getting towards the end of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah is generally divided into 2 parts, the first part being chapters 1 through 39, the second part starting with verses regarding the servant, who is clearly identified as Jesus Christ, being different in content and different in focus and different in attitude, basically. And so here in this chapter 62, verse 12, Isaiah writes, they will be called the holy people. That is, all who are believers in the servant, who is the Messiah, who is the Christ. They will be called the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord, and you will be called sought after, the city no longer deserted. And so this is Isaiah speaking of the restoration of Jerusalem, which was destroyed by the Babylonians, and the children of Israel that were taken into captivity, who were promised to return. One of Isaiah's themes in the midst of all of the judgmental things he says. And I don't mean personal judgmentalism, but that he was a prophet of judgment. He was a prophet of doom and gloom to the people of Israel because of their sins. But always in the midst of that was promises of restoration and a remnant. You and I are that remnant as we believe in the servant, the Lord Jesus Christ. And we are participants, we are citizens of the New Jerusalem, which Revelation 21:9 through 11 and then verse 23 speak of. The New Jerusalem, the bride of the Lamb. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls full of the 7 last plagues came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." And we know who that is. It's the church, and the church is the New Jerusalem. And he carried me away in the Spirit to a mountain great and high. 4 times John says he's carried away in the Spirit. And so this is the 4th and final time, the 4th and final section, the 4th and final recounting of this spiritual vision. So he carried me away in the Spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. It shone like the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of a precious jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. And then skipping down to verse 23, the city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the lamb is its the lamb is its lamp. And so I think this should motivate all believers living during a time of persecution, as was the case with the 7 letters, or the 7 churches who originally received the apocalypse, and people today, even 20 centuries later. We should all be motivated by this to let the glory of the light of the Lamb shine through our lives as citizens of the New Jerusalem, which is being constructed as our hearts are being renovated by the Spirit of God and the truth of God. And I think that's shown in this section from The Inward Journey by Gene Edwards. And so we will be, let me read this for you. This particular house is very large, speaking of the New Jerusalem, speaking of the church, speaking of Zion, speaking of the temple, all applied to us as believers in the New Testament. Large enough to be a city, for it shall be a house for God to live in. A quarry. I live in the midst of a quarry called earth. The real quarry, you are down there somewhere being chiseled on by God, man, and circumstances, referring to us as believers. But not you alone. Every believer who has ever lived, those who lived before his visitation, and all those who are yet to come. One day you all will be lifted out of this quarry through that door. Then shall no hammer be heard, for all of that is done in the quarry. Nor shall you be there as an endless array of stones, but together you will be assembled in one place, as one, a living city, the bride, the New Jerusalem. And folks, that's what we are. We are living stones being built together as a holy dwelling for God, even now. This is not something for by and by. This is for now. This is for us to understand, and this is for us to live into. Let your light shine in this world. So that's all I have for you today. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. for a Thursday edition. And we're coming up on Palm Sunday and the beginning of Passion Week. And next week I'll be returning to the Revised Common Lectionary to read the daily readings during Passion Week. And I may or may not come back to the Celtic Daily Prayer book. I may continue for a while in the Revised Common Lectionary. We'll see how that goes. For now, farewell. May God bless you.